Now on Denver 7 News at 4. A little extra help for a teacher in need.
I don't think I have the words to describe what it means.
How your generosity is making a difference to her and her students.
Car loan defaults are rising, and that is leading to more car repossessions. What lenders may be willing to do before your situation gets to this point. And you may feel good when you put your plastics in the recycling bin, but the truth is very few plastics that we use actually get recycled. What scientists are now doing to try and change that.
And if you think this stretch of I-70 is busy now, wait until ski season. We'll tell you about CDOT's plan to ease the congestion. Thank you for joining us this Labor Day for Denver 7 News at 4. I'm Jacqueline Allen. Traffic along I-25 through Thornton is now moving again this holiday weekend. Both directions of the interstate were closed for about 6 hours today because of a deadly officer-involved shooting. Now, police tell us they received multiple calls of a man walking in traffic at 7:30 this morning. When they tried to talk to the man to get him off I-25, they say he threw a weapon at them and officers shot and killed him. The 17th Judicial District Critical Incident Response Team is now investigating. Let's take a live look now at traffic along I-70 on Floyd Hill. On the left side of your screen, you will see cars headed back to Denver on this holiday, and those lanes have been filling up all afternoon long, very similar to what we see them do this time of day during ski season. Denver 7's Colette Bordelon joins us now from Idaho Springs, and CDOT's got a plan, Colette, to ease some of that congestion come ski season.
Jacqueline, the stretch of 70 between Floyd Hill and the Veterans Memorial Tunnels, some of the busiest in the entire stretch of the highway, and at points it can turn into a total gridlock situation, especially during those huge snowstorms that make for great ski conditions, honestly. That's why CDOT, along with the Federal Highway Administration, began the second phase of studying and planning improvements on the westbound side of 75 years ago. Those projects include adding a third lane where it goes down to 2 lanes on westbound 70, along with smoother curves and proper shoulders, while adding bridges that work with the windy road on the eastbound side. Now, there are early projects that could begin before the main construction, like intersection improvements in the Floyd Hill neighborhood and wildlife crossings at Genesee and Empire.
Obviously, it's a construction project. There will be impacts from time to time. We'll be coming back to folks to let them know when that happens, but we're going to be doing everything we can to keep that experience as smooth as we can.
They're hoping not to see any major impacts this ski season. They're working on finalizing that exact design right now. They hope to break ground on the first projects in October of this year. They could be working on the entire project, though, through 2026, even 2027 if they need to. The cost of that entire project is around $700 million. Live in Idaho Springs, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
A lot of money, and it's going to take a long time. Thank you, Colette. Coming up in about 12 minutes, Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson tells us if we're going to be seeing any ski-like weather anytime soon, or if this heat is going to hang around for a while. Speaking of skiing, a battle is underway in Vail that is pitting the ski resort against the town. At issue, 5.5 acres of land the resort wants to use to build affordable housing for resort workers. Land the city says is needed for preservation. The Denver Business Journal says the 5.5 acres in question is part of a 23-acre plot that is home to bighorn sheep. Now, the resort filed a complaint in Eagle County asking a judge to let it move forward on this project. Last month, Vail's town council passed an emergency ordinance suspending any permits in that area. The 8 months since the Marshall Fire have been a little stressful for families in Boulder County, and that includes teachers there. That's where your generous donations into our Denver 7 Gives Wildfire Fund come in. First-time teacher Natasha Ambrose is still navigating the disaster. Ambrose and her family lived in the Sagamore neighborhood in Superior. They escaped with just a little more than the clothes on their backs. Well, this year, Ambrose started a new job teaching freshmen about technology and business, and she's been struggling financially to purchase items for her classroom.
The kids have been great. They understand my situation, and they have made me little doodles, and they have painted me things, so we're starting to put things on the walls.
So we do have a surprise for you. On behalf of our Denver 7 Gives Foundation and our generous viewers, we actually want to take you shopping because we know how difficult it's been for you after going through the Marshall Fire. So we're going to help you get supplies for your classroom.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. Ambrose was able to pick out a lot of essential school supplies and some decorations for her classroom. After losing so much, she says she's grateful she can provide a little bit of normalcy for her students.
I don't think I have the words to describe what it means. This community has been so amazing to us, and I just don't know how to give back. So I feel like being a teacher and giving back to the kids and knowing that this is for my kids, that's my way to give back.
I love that. I love those pillows too. They look very comfortable. Denver 7 is always looking for ways to help out those in our community who need it. So go to the Denver 7 Gives page on our website to learn how you can help out.
Today, a federal judge granted a request by former President Trump's legal team to have a special master review documents seized during the search of Mar-a-Lago. Now, a special master is a third-party attorney from outside the government. President Trump's lawyers say that it's needed because they don't trust the Justice Department to fairly identify privileged documents that would need to be kept out of the investigation. The Justice Department says this isn't needed because it already finished its review of those documents. You can now get a new COVID booster at a pharmacy or a clinic, and more appointments are expected to open up this week. Let's go to Alexa Liaco with what you can expect from this vaccine rollout.
With a new booster shot comes a lot of questions. Many of us are wondering, what's in these shots and do I really need one? Well, we sat down with 2 infectious disease experts to get all your burning booster questions answered.
This is certainly the greatest invention of our time, to be able to produce a vaccine that's safe and effective this quickly.
Dr. Larissa Pisney is an infectious disease doctor at UC Health in Denver. She and Dr. Ross Kettle, a professor of immunology at the University of Colorado, explained these updated boosters use the original vaccine plus some added proteins to protect against Omicron BA4 and BA5.
Yeah, so very little is actually different. All the things that were in them before are in them again.
The original vaccine formula has been extensively tested in humans, but the booster, including the BA4 and BA5 variants, has only been tested in mice. But both Dr. Pisney and Dr. Kettle say that's not a concern.
It's not like starting fresh with a new vaccine. Bivalent vaccines have already been tested, and we have clinical safety data for previous strains of COVID.
Dr. Kettle says these new boosters are like flu shots. The base formula is used year after year, and doctors add new proteins each season to protect against the strain impacting the most people.
If you're a person who gets a flu shot every year, well, then every time you've been getting it over the last 30 years, it's never been quote, tested in humans each year.
And this year, doctors are encouraging people to get the COVID booster and flu shot at the same time. But wait at least 2 months from your last booster or a COVID infection. Doctors say everyone above the approved age is encouraged to get a shot. The new Pfizer booster is approved for ages 12 and up. The new Moderna booster is approved for those 18 and up.
Most people don't want to get sick, and most people don't even want to get infected. So if both of those things apply to you, then I would say go get a booster.
If you haven't been vaccinated at all, these new shots are not meant to be your first. This booster can only be used after a set of the original 2 COVID shots. And if you're wondering, do I really need this one? Both experts say yes.
This is the best thing that we all can do, is get vaccinated.
There's no obvious reason why one more injection has any significant safety risks associated with it. Whereas a SARS-CoV-2 infection or COVID, there is still some risk. Even when you've been vaccinated, there still is a risk of long COVID.
And they say if more people get this vaccine, there's a chance the virus will mutate less by next year.
By a collective effort, we'll make sure that we don't have to do every 6 months on this. And that's where we'll move into. So if your big concern is I'm tired of getting shots, well, maybe do one more, and let's see if the path to getting less shots, ironically, for the time being, is to get one more.
I'm Alexa Liaco reporting.
All right, Alexa, thank you. Now, you might be taken a bit aback if your doctor starts talking with you about preventing obesity when you're not overweight. But the truth is that may start happening more often, why there is new attention around this issue.
Also ahead, a Labor Day tradition returns to Louisville. We'll show you how the smiles and excitement are returning as the big parade comes back to Main Street.